Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today I'm back with another video. In this video we're going to be talking about chapter 84 of Dragon Ball Super. Now, in this chapter, unlike the other ones where there was more story and some talking, this one was purely action, which I did enjoy, but I do enjoy a sprinkle of action and some dialogue into it. So this one's going to be less about the story itself and just some of the concepts that I want to talk about. Now I'm going to go through the story, but since there's really not much to talk about, it's going to be brief, so let's get into it. Now this manga starts off with the whole message from Bardock coming to an end, and we see more of Goku through his mind, seeing his mom and dad over there, coming to the pod, him being battle damaged from being gassed and leaving, and then the whole events of him seeing him before they sent him off, which we see narrated in Dragon Ball Minus and in the Broly movie in the beginning of it. So we see that, and then we come back to the present time after that. Now, one thing I do want to say is I feel like a lot of people, when they first heard about this, this idea or concept from Toyotaro, where they had Goku hears this message from Bardock and it opened up his mind and changed his perspective. A lot of people assumed that this was going to change the whole story of Dragon Ball and make it different. I remember I remember when it first came out in chapter 83, or I think it was before that, chapter 82, when it was first announced about this and they started doing it. A lot of the fans, they were assuming that they're going to change Goku and his personality and this might ruin the Dragon Ball franchise. But in reality, it really didn't change much. All they did was explain the backstory of what happened between Bardock versus Gas, and that was it. And Goku and Vegeta got a different perspective of the Saiyans, Saiyan history, and Goku learned more about his pride for his, his race and shit. But most of it wasn't really that, game changing. I think a lot of people, the problem with the Dragon Ball fans is they overreact to things. They think if something doesn't go exactly a certain way, then it's gonna create a cause or an effect that's gonna change everything, which it didn't. Like, yeah, I get it. Because what people were assuming when they saw this was, oh, this is going to make Goku have a different mindset, he's going to think differently, and this is automatically going to make Goku, a different character, and he's going to have a different personality. No, it's just that he has still the same approach, it's just that he has a different perspective on who he is as a person, and on what pride means, and same thing for Vegeta. But it really didn't change anything. Though, it did change one aspect, and that was the whole wish thing, because prior to this one, at first we were talking about how Goku came to Earth. It was basically the first incident was because Saiyans of their weak, they're sent to weak planets, so when they grow up they kill them and wipe them off, and then they come back to the society after they conquered these weak civilizations. And that was what the point of Goku was. Goku survived Planet Vegeta's destruction not because of fate or destiny or somebody actually putting it into motion. It was out of sheer luck. Him being sent there, he was sent to Earth to basically conquer it and wipe out the inhabitants so he can sell to Frieza. But luckily for him, he was able to escape the explosion of the planet. That's how the original story was. Then they changed it in Dragon Ball Minus, where it's like, oh no, he was not sent to Earth to wipe it out like how the other infants are. He was sent there by his father and his mom to save him from the Earth's destruction. So kind of like a ripoff of Superman's backstory, which I didn't like at all, but they've once again changed that into a different perspective, and I like it even less. And it was basically, this is the only real change that they had from this little idea that was created, and it was the fact that Bardock wished for the dragons to make Goku and Raditz safe. So now it's no longer Goku was sent to Earth and it was only safe because he was sent there to wipe out the inhabitants and he got lucky. Now then they changed it to, oh, his parents sent him to save his life. Now it's not even that. Now it's, oh well, his dad wished for his safety, so that's why Goku and Raditz were brought to Earth and saved because of the wish. So now it's even less because of just randomly happening. Now it's even more specifically it was meant to happen, or somebody made it happen. So I don't really like that idea. They kind of ruined the whole idea of that backstory, because I always thought it was cool. It was interesting to see this guy who becomes a hero, but his whole purpose was there to wipe out these people, but he became a champion to them and became kind of a heroic figure and somebody who really loved this planet. But when they made it the other way, where like, oh, he was saved, that's kind of Superman-esque. And the whole wish thing, it makes it sound even more like he was just meant there to be saving people, whatever. So I didn't like that aspect, but that's not that big of a issue. Then we get into the fight, and Gas is arriving. He is pissed. He comes down. He's ready to kill them. Alec is there with his subordinates. They're talking about, what's going to happen. Then he steps up to Goku and Vegeta. They get fully healed by, I forgot what the old Namekian's name is, but they get healed up by him. They come in, they're ready to go to the battlefield, and they both instantly jump to their most powerful forms. Vegeta goes to his Ultra Ego, and Goku goes to the Ultra Instinct state. And this looks beautiful. They go to that, and they both jump into the fight. And this is where there's really no story. It's just them back and forth, Goku and Vegeta saying that Vegeta said he wants to kill him on his own, and then Goku said, I'm not gonna let you just go on and fight him on your own. I want to fight him too. And basically they're at a point where they're willing to work together. They're gonna obviously simultaneously attack him, but also they are still specifically want to take him out on their own. So basically they're gonna work to fight him, but one of them is gonna get the finishing blow, and that's what they're basically fighting over. And that's a better way for them to work together, because technically they're still working while also staying true to who they are as competitive people that go against each other and want to one up each other in in combat scenario. So they both fight him, and Gas is basically he's handling this. He's he's blocking the attacks. He's smacking them around. He's getting behind them. He's smacking Ultra Ego Vegeta down. Ultra Instinct Goku's he's holding him back. He's beating him up. Then Vegeta fires one of his Hakai energy attacks, which would erase him. He tries to block it with the shield. Then the shield disintegrates, and then he's holding with his backhands. Goku jumps in, helps out Vegeta. He pushes his back, showcasing that he has more power than them. So much more power than them that Vegeta opts out to leave and attack him to stop it. But it doesn't work, because even though Vegeta attacks him, he's able to fight back, and the energy attack is still getting pushed back at Goku, and Goku's trying to hold it back off. And then he, launches into sky so it doesn't destroy a city behind him. And Vegeta's actually getting some licks in. Vegeta tells him how he gets stronger the more damage he takes, and that he's getting stronger. And then Goku jumps in, and they start fighting him. But Gas is able to hold them off pretty well. They haven't been really hurting him significantly. You don't see any real damage on him. And even though I do think, Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta are doing a pretty good job, they are still not completely 100% dominating this guy. This guy's actually getting the upper hand on them. But there might be something that might happen. That's where a lot of people are like, what's going to happen? What are they going to do differently? Because they have to have some sort of plan to defeat him. They're not just going to go straight up, because from what we're seeing right now, he's kind of mopping the floor with them, and they don't seem to be able to having a chance against him. So they have that. Alex says he's not very scared. I wonder why he's not scared. I think that's the most interesting part about the story, is people want to know specifically, what is Alex's plan? Why is he so confident? Yes, he made the wish to make him the strongest, but he might be the strongest compared to just in general. But that doesn't mean you're so strong that you can beat multiple powerful beings. That might mean you're stronger than these guys individually, but together that doesn't mean that he can beat them all together. But he is doing that. He's dominating them, and it's very cool. There's back and forth. Obviously, this manga, the whole main focus was the fight itself, and it's still not done. I think the next chapter, there's only two ways it can go. Either it's completely still fighting, and then we have to wait another chapter for it to end, or it's going to go through half of it, and then the rest of the half is going to be resolving the conflict and trying to deal with the situation, and then Alex's plan coming into play. So there's a couple of moving pieces in this. Now, the synopsis of the story itself, I did not have that much to say, because simply it was mostly combat, and the combat aspect was interesting, but it wasn't anything too ridiculously noticeable for me to say anything special about it. But there are some interesting concepts and arguments and discussions that people have that I want to talk about in this video. This is the main reason I wanted to talk about this. First, I want to talk about people worrying about them changing the Goku story. They didn't change Goku's story. It basically, yes, they changed one aspect of it, which I personally did not like, but people were overreacting. They were making it sound like this changes the entire story and the lore, and that everything's going to be different. Not really. The whole backstory of Bardock didn't change who Goku is. Goku's still the same person. So is Vegeta. They just got a stronger resolve in their own power and pride. That's it. I do not like the wish that they made where it saves them. Like I said, the whole interesting thing about Goku's first one is it was through sheer luck that he survived, and his reason for being on Earth was to wipe them out. But then they made it less out of luck and more out of it was made to be that way. And I don't like it, is that whole chosen one type of aspect. I think it's kind of lame. And yeah, so I didn't really like that wish thing. The fight itself was interesting. I think they can ramp it up a little more. There needs to be a little more intensity in it. Like, there wasn't any really crazy shots and stuff that was happening in the fight itself. That's really it I can think about the fight, but let's talk about some of the concepts that I saw that in there that I thought was interesting and some discussions people have. First, Vegeta's Ultra, ego. I think it's safe to say at this point that Ultra Ego Vegeta is stronger than Ultra Instinct Goku. Even if it's not by extremely much, he still does have more of an advantage, because when we saw him fighting against, Gas, he did better than Ultra Instinct Goku did. And on top of that, he has an ability that Ultra Instinct Goku doesn't have, and that is the more damage he takes, the stronger he gets. So the more he fights, the more they go through it, the stronger he's going to become. So he has a bit of a leg up on Goku, but with that ability, he surpasses him even more. So people who are arguing who is stronger, I would say definitively Ultra Ego Vegeta, but I wouldn't say by much. Second thing I want to talk about is Ultra Instinct. I think a lot of people over-exaggerated Ultra Instinct, and now they're seeing that it's not as OP as they thought it was. They're like, this doesn't make sense. And no, it's you don't understand what you're talking about. It's not that it doesn't make sense. And I'll probably make a video about this in the future. But I feel like a lot of people, once they saw Ultra Instinct and the Tournament of Power, they automatically assume that this means Goku cannot be hit at all. Goku's unstoppable. Goku can do whatever the hell. No, he's not. All this ability does is basically cut off the middleman when it comes to reflexes and reaction, because you see something, you perceive it, your mind takes in the information, it tries to understand it, and then it creates a response in a short amount of time, still like within fractions of seconds, to respond to it. But in Goku's case, it's even shortened, because now they don't need that. His body reacts, so he doesn't need to see it to react to it. His body naturally reacts, and he doesn't need the time for his mind to perceive or process the information before it enacts on its own. So what this does, basically, in just regular terms, this basically means that his body can move on its own, and its response time is faster, because there's no delay between your mental processing speed and your physical speed, because your physical speed is that in itself. So it's faster. All this basically means is Goku is going to be able to not have to think, and his body can react on its own. And two, he would have faster reflexes, because he doesn't have to think when he's fighting. His body's going to do that. That's it. I don't know why people are making it sound like Ultra Instinct should be untouchable. That doesn't make sense. First of all, it's stupid to make a character that OP where they cannot be stopped and stuff. That's stupid. Or like they have this complete advantage where they can do whatever. I think that's dumb. But also, it's like, that's not what it was. So when people are like, how can Ultra Instinct Goku get hit? Just because he does not have the delay of response does not mean he cannot be hit. That's where a lot of people, I feel like, are being illogical. They're thinking that this gives him an ultimate defense. It is an ultimate defense, but they think it's like the perfect defense where it means nothing can touch him. That's not what it means. What it means is that his response is even faster, so he's moving even faster. If he fights against an opponent that's way, way faster than him, even if they're not that in tune with their physical aspect, like, fighting in that combat style, they can still surpass him and get hits on him. Why? Because they're just much faster than him. All this does is increase his speed to a more ridiculous amount. For example, Jiren. When he was fighting as Jiren, it's not like Jiren was completely getting bodied. Jiren was able to get hits. He was able to do some stuff. Yes, obviously Goku was having the better advantage, but Jiren didn't have Master Ultra Instinct. He didn't even have Ultra Instinct from what we know, and he was able to respond to Goku's strikes and able to hit him. So yes, it's not this unstoppable. It doesn't mean automatically if he goes to that form he's not touched anymore. He can still be touched. It's just that the person has to be considerably higher in terms of speed now to be able to hit him, which in this case it makes sense. Gas and Granola are stronger than Goku. So I think people need to stop with the whole Ultra Instinct cannot be caught off guard. Yes, it can. It still has a limited amount of speed. It does not have some infinite level of speed where no matter how fast somebody is, it can catch them. No. It still depends on how fast a person is. If a person is way faster, yeah, then it doesn't matter if you have Master Ultra Instinct. There's that. Also, I want to talk about the interesting thing about the Ultra Ego thing, is because people keep on talking about, like, well, if this is not Beerus' full power, then how powerful is Beerus? Well, if you think about it logically, Beerus would be technically Beerus, if we were to see his full power, he would have to show what Vegeta is doing. Because we saw with Toppo and stuff, when the God Destruction Energy, when you're not holding back and you're going off, that's what it looks like. We didn't see that when Beerus fought against Goku in the, Battle of Gods arc. That, I think, once when he shows that, then that shows that he's being serious. And that just shows Case is a different level of power. Because a Vegeta using an incomplete version of this has now surpassed Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. And we have Beerus, who's naturally just stronger and has this on top of it, and has a perfected version of it, and also has Ultra Instinct, not a perfected version, but at least a well enough used version. This means that Beerus is insanely beyond him. Think about it. Vegeta surpassed him, which Vegeta was weaker than him at that point, surpassed Master Ultra Instinct just by unlock this form. Beerus has this in his back pocket, and this is not him. This is his full power. But without even using that, he's already ridiculously powerful. So if he does go on full power, we would need to see this Hakai energy around him, this Hakai attacks. And the only reason he didn't use against Goku and Battle Gods, he didn't need to. And on top of that, he wasn't trying to wipe him out of existence. He was just trying to teach him a lesson, beat him, and wipe out his plan and with him along with it. He was just trying to kill him at most. He wasn't trying to wipe him out of existence. He didn't see the need of it. But yeah, I think when we truly see how strong Beerus is, and the great thing about seeing Vegeta having this technique is it shows us a little bit of a glimpse into Beerus's power, because this is just saying Vegeta is this powerful and can achieve this, and whatever Vegeta is doing, Beerus can do that on a higher level and in a more perfected form. So that means that not only would Beerus be stronger and have Master Ultra Instinct and can wipe beings out of existence when he uses real power, and also he has a bigger amount of power, but this also means that the more he gets hit, the stronger he becomes, because Vegeta is getting attacked and he's getting stronger. So even if Goku does get to a realm where he can compete against Beerus, he would need to finish him off quick, because if he keeps on just damaging him and he's taking it, he's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think this is one of the main reasons why Beerus and a lot of the God's Destructions are so powerful, is they use this so much and they perfect it to the point where they take hits and they're just getting stronger. So they don't even need to really train, because we don't see Beerus training, and I don't think he needs to, because with this ability, just like Hits one or Goku Blacks, he can get stronger without having to go out of his ways and train in a traditional sense. So there's that. One thing I don't like is I feel a lot of people are mad that Gas and Granola are this powerful, especially Gas. I saw some people talking about it, saying, how can Gas be able to match them too? I'm like, are you kidding me? Broly was able to match Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta after just getting his ass handed to him by base Vegeta, and they had to use a fusion, and even then they went to Super Saiyan Blue to beat him. Whether you think that was overkill or not, it doesn't matter. He went from Super Saiyan automatically to Super Saiyan Blue. So you can't be making that arguments. We've seen multiple characters that shouldn't be that powerful or that much of a challenge, giving them a challenge, even though that doesn't make sense. People say, well, he got it through a wish, so that's cheating. Yes, because it's more reasonable to have somebody barely train for a bit and have them surpass them. I mean, we had Frieza train for 4 months just beating up his henchmen. How the hell does that make him stronger than Goku and Vegeta? We had Trunks just getting angry in his time because he was getting talked shit by Goku Black and Zamasu, and he just surpasses them. That didn't make any sense. Android 17 was able to match up with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and force him to that, and all he did was stop a bunch of humans with guns for once in a while. And we saw this Kale, where she just got angry and got this new form and was able to, be considered a big enough of a threat. And Broly definitely, he fought on a planet full of bug creatures, and he was considered the legendary Super Saiyan, and that was all he had to take to become that powerful. So I feel like a lot of people are being very harsh on Gas and Granola. He used a wish. At least I'd rather accept a wish, because at least that is reasonable BS to accept than, they barely trained at all anywhere near these guys, and they just got it because they're prodigies, and because apparently some these guys can half-ass train, not even close to 10% of these guys, and still surpass them. So I'd rather prefer that. So I don't see the problem with Gas doing this. All this does in turn is, and now it makes Goku and Vegeta look weak, but it just showcases they can get stronger. And one thing people say, well, how strong can Goku get? Well, he hasn't truly mastered Ultra Instinct, and we know that just because he mastered it, that doesn't mean he's completely powerful. He can still get physically naturally stronger. And before this video gets any longer, I'm just going to finish it off with this little discussion. And I think a lot of people, I think this is an important discussion to have, because this is a topic I wanted to talk about quite a bit. So the thing I wanted to talk about was simply, I feel like a lot of people when they see these mangas and stuff or the Dragon Ball story nowadays, they keep on saying the same thing. They're so OP, they're overpowered. How much stronger can you make them? How much this and that? And I keep on hearing that shit, and it pisses me off because it's like you're saying that they're too ridiculously OP and how much stronger can they get, but it's like you know that they can always get stronger than that. But not only that, it's the fact that it feels kind of hypocritical because the same people that say this, like, oh, they're too OP and they're getting this and that and ridiculous, are the same ones saying that, oh, this character could stomp Goku and Vegeta. This character can stomp Goku and Vegeta. Oh, they go in this universe, these characters are way stronger than them. So you can't say that they're overpowered to the point where it's ridiculous, but then also have other characters where you say they could stomp them. That's not ridiculous then. For example, like with the new, with like the recent thing with, you know, Thor versus Vegeta, I made that video to Death Battle. I was like, oh yeah, I was talking about like, maybe the stuff they're saying is not true and stuff. And people are saying, no, he would stop him. And I'm not saying he will or he won't, as a lot of people are just assuming that I'm saying that, oh, Vegeta will win. But this is important to consider because people keep on saying that they're this OP, they're too OP, this doesn't make sense, they shouldn't be that OP. But then say that Thor can stomp him and support Thor. And there's nothing wrong with saying Thor can stomp him, but the problem for me is you can't be complaining about Dragon Ball characters being too OP and then saying that they're not strong enough to beat a certain character and hype the other character. Because I don't see people calling Thor out as too OP or too stupid or ridiculously powerful. I don't see them complaining about how powerful they make Thor, but then they want to say that Thor could easily stomp these characters. What's your point then? What are you trying to say then? Because you're saying they're too OP and it doesn't make sense, it's ridiculous, but then also saying Thor can stomp them, but also not criticizing Thor for being ridiculously OP, saying it makes sense. So it makes sense when other characters are ridiculously OP, but now when Dragon Ball characters are ridiculously OP. And I think this is a lot of hypocrisy from fans, the people that want to downplay Dragon Ball, and they see these feats and they can't downplay them. So when they see them getting this ridiculously powerful, like, man, why the fuck are they keep on making them more powerful? I want them to be weaker because I don't want to admit that there could be beating this or that certain character. And they see that. So it's like, because if you had a problem with OP, you would have a problem with all the OP characters. But it only seems like they're really harsh on Dragon Ball characters. It's too ridiculous. Then by that notion, Superman would be ridiculous by you saying Superman could beat them. Thor would be ridiculous by you guys saying Thor would beat him. But you guys never say that. Why? Because you don't want to see Dragon Ball characters get powerful. When they get powerful, then you want to throw terms like it's too overpowered and too ridiculous and I don't like it. But when it's characters you like and they're ridiculously overpowered, especially when you say they're stronger than them, then you're like, that's fine. Because by that logic, if you're saying that they're ridiculously OP, then Thor should, if he's going to stop them, then he should be even more ridiculously OP and his power should make even less of a sense and be more ridiculous. But I don't see you guys saying that. So I don't like when people say that shit, they're this and that. Like, no, they can be as strong as they want. You can't say they can't be this is that strong and then complain about say they're not that strong compared to these characters and then complain again. It's just ass backwards and I hate it. But yeah, that's all I had to say. It wasn't as much as about the manga chapter itself. It was mainly about these discussions and topics I wanted to go into because I feel like there's a lot of discrepancy when it comes to the fans and, you know, these ideologies and stuff. And I disagree with a lot of people on a lot of stuff and they disagree with me and that's fine. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know when I'm going to be dropping out the breakdown video of Thor versus Vegeta because if I'm being honest, this task of, you know, getting the feats for Thor is a lot bigger of a task than I first initially thought. Because when it comes to the other characters that I found the information, it was more easy and straightforward. This one, Thor, there's too many different comic books that he's in. And, you know, Odin, where I have to connect, and also the other ones. So I'm probably just going to watch, you know, what's the thing called? Death Battle's video, find out all the feats they used, and then try to have a rebuttal for those feats, either saying they're correct or wrong. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because right now it seems like it's a little too much for me to handle, and it's gonna take too long for me to drop that video out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys tomorrow.